So one of the most popular topics and popular types of fragrances is your everyday fragrance. And everybody's got a different budget for these things and different needs for that fragrance they're going to wear every day. So in this video, I've got 15 for you for 3 different budget types. We're talking about in the more affordable range that can be found for under $50. What I would consider the mid-tier for $50 to $150. That's a combination of some more affordable niche and some mid to high-level designers. And then the $150 plus, which is going to be your higher-end luxury fragrances for those of you that have a little bit more to spend. So stay tuned. First tier we're going to cover is the sub $50 price point, and pretty much all of these can be found for well below that. That's just the high mark of this tier in my opinion, and this is one that can be found for around $20 for 100 ml. It replicates a much more expensive fragrance. This is Ed Hardy's Love and Luck. This is very similar to Creed's Millesime Imperial, though I deem this a little bit fresher than that one. Obviously not on the same quality scale, but does smell incredible. Average performer at best, like a 4-hour fragrance. Nothing special here in performance. It's one that's in the $20 and below price bracket, depending on what size bottle you want to get from discounters online, eBay, Amazon, places like that. It does smell incredible. There was a time when this was my signature scent. That's where more than half of this bottle has gone. I have gone through a travel size, I have gone through a 1-ounce bottle, and I've gone through half of this bottle, and I have an additional 1-ounce backup bottle. So that should give you an idea on how much I believe in this fragrance for being just a great all-around everyday wear. Obviously shines better in the warmer weather, but I've worn this many of winters. Can pull a nice compliment here and there. You're gonna smell fresh, clean. It's got a little bit more character than your average freshie because there is some more herbal, spicy nuances to this fragrance, but pretty hard to beat in the price point, to be completely honest with you. One that's forgotten nowadays because the Ed Hardy fad is long over, but the fragrances are bona fide cheapies these days and they still smell great. Again, that's Ed Hardy. This is Love and Luck. While not my absolute favorite fragrance from the house, hell, not even my favorite fragrance that it smells, that this replicates of, I guess you could say, but there's no denying what it has done in the designer market. This is a great everyday fragrance. My wife loves when I wear this one. I am talking about Mont Blanc Explorer. This is a 60 ml. I got this for $30 from FragranceNet a while back after the 35% off coupon code. That is going rate for this fragrance. You can find 100 mLs still in that sub $50 range, so this falls right into that very affordable territory. For a lot of people, they tell me this stuff performs phenomenal for them. For me, it's more in the average to slightly above average range of 5 to 6 hours, which I deem for $30, that's pretty good performance. It does not smell overly synthetic. This is more along the lines of bergamot, bitter tart fruitiness from black currant, ambroxan type of smell, that side of Creed Aventus. Doesn't smell exactly like Creed Aventus, but you can tell that's the route they were trying to take. This has more of that designer feel to it. It's a bit more mass appealing than Creed Aventus even is. This has been extremely hyped up here in the fragrance community, and while I personally do deem it a little overhyped, I'm not sitting here saying it's a bad fragrance because that's why I recommend it to you guys. I do think it's a very good fragrance. I just don't think it's a 10 out of 10 like some do treat it. And I know for some of you watching this, this may be blasphemy because this may be your favorite fragrance. Like I said, not knocking the fragrance. I think it's an awesome fragrance, especially for the money. That's why I'm recommending it to you in this price bracket in the first place. I actually wore it not that long ago myself. A great designer grab at a great price. This Mont Blanc Explorer. Jumping right back into the super cheap territory. We're talking $20 or less for a 100 milliliter bottle, $12 to $13 depending on where you find it. My 100 milliliter backup bottle came from a Burlington for $13. I am talking about Sean John 3 AM. While performance leaves a little bit to be desired, it does make up for that in A, the scent profile, and B, this incredible atomizer. while the atomizer not being that important, what comes down to is scent and performance. I understand that, but this offers a unique, fresh approach. So this is gonna have some juicy citrus up top. It's based around fig leaf and a soft, supple leather. There's a gin and tonic water type of smell. It does have a lot of character for a little price. It really does. Really like a 3 to 5 hour. If you spray your clothes, you can probably get 4 to 5 hours. On skin for me is about 3 to 4 hours. But like I said, definitely spray your clothes. You can refresh this one. Keep it with you if you need more than that out of it in performance. It can turn a few heads when people smell you because it smells different from your average run-of-the-mill designer fragrance that most people are going to be wearing every day. That's what makes this such a special recommendation, in my opinion. Probably the specialist recommendation in this particular video, regardless of price point, because of the uniqueness of the scent. And really, I deem it to be very bang for your buck. And while it can be a little polarizing because you have to like fig, obviously, fig and leather is an interesting combination with tonic water. It just works, in my opinion. One of the nice little cheapy gems out there that can be found at most rack stores, all over the place online. You're not gonna spend a lot of money. You're gonna smell different from the man next to you. That's Sean John 3 a.m. You know, we can't skip through this price bracket without a lovely, affordable blue fragrance, and there is none better, in my personal opinion, than Salvatore Ferragamo's Acqua Essenziale Blue. So no strangers to this channel. If you're no strangers to this channel, you've heard me speak about this fragrance before. It's in the same vein as a Versace Dylan Blue, but doesn't smell just like Versace Dylan Blue. Here, this is a bit more dense. It's got a little bit more of a powdery nature. The lavender here has got a powdery touch. There's a heavier dose of cypriol oil. There's a little bit of citrus freshness up top. It's a tonka bean dry down. It's sweet, but not too sweet. It's fresh, but not an extremely fresh fragrance. The performance here is, for most people, in the average to slightly above average range. I get above average performance. I get more in that 8-hour realm, but I've had a lot of people tell me they get in the 5 to 6 hour range, which I think for the 30 some odd dollar price point that you'll find 100 milliliter bottles of this for, I think that's still great. It doesn't smell like every other blue fragrance. It's similar to some of the fragrances I mentioned, like Versace Dylan Blue and Bleu de Chanel, without walking the same path as those fragrances. It kind of takes little subtle nuances from different ones and puts it in one bottle here. If you're lucky enough to find this at a rack store, 50 milliliter bottles like this are showing up for around $16.99. And for me personally, that is a steal of a price point. One of the best things you can get as far as men's fragrances. If you can find this for $17, you're doing pretty well for yourself. But still in the 30 some odd, mid $30 range for 100 milliliter bottles, it still punches well above that price point, in my opinion. This is one of my personal favorite fragrances. It's my favorite blue fragrance. It's my favorite cheap fragrance. It's my favorite cheap blue fragrance. It's great for everyday wear. Never a bad time to smell like this. One of my favorites in this price bracket, Salvatore Ferragamo Acqua Essenziale Blue. Last, for the $50 and below price bracket, I had to put what's basically a timeless classic in this price bracket. Great for everyday use. There's never a bad time to smell fresh and clean. That being Versace Pour Homme, also known as Versace Signature. 50 ml like this, 30 some odd dollar range. 100 mls below $50. Depending on where you find them, you could probably find a 200 ml somewhere in the $50 range, $50 to $60, which that's a bargain for this fragrance. Average performance, soapy clean, fresh, citrus, inoffensive. This was the king of the office before Prada L'Homme ever came around. And to me, it still is, because not everybody likes soapy iris. Here you still get some soapy neroli, so it still has that soapy clean freshness without that heavy dose of flower. The white floral nature here with the neroli isn't overly done because it's more citrus and creaminess and woods. It's not too soapy. So I still deem this the king of the office personally, because this is even more inoffensive, even more of a safe fragrance than Prada L'Homme. Though I do love Prada L'Homme, obviously doesn't fit this price bracket. I'm just saying for comparison's sake, because when you talk best office fragrances, Prada L'Homme is one of the first fragrances that comes to mind, as should this one. And for the money, it's hard to beat. Now, are you stepping out on a limb with this fragrance? No. Very, very safe and inoffensive. Doesn't project real heavy. It's going to sit a bit close to the skin. Obviously, in the first hour, people will be able to smell you really well. But after that, it's going to sit a lot closer to the skin and be a much more intimate, office-appropriate type of setting fragrance, which this is perfect for, obviously, because I call it the king of the office. Great addition to anyone's collection, but if it's going to be your one fragrance and you don't want something too loud and pronounced, something you can just smell nice and clean every day, you need to look no further than Versace Pour Homme. Next, we're going to be discussing the $50 to $150 price bracket. So this is going to be a mixture of affordable niche fragrances from discounters, as well as some mid-level to higher end designer fragrances. Mostly, yeah, that's an accurate depiction, really. Starting off with what I deem the best niche fragrance to start your collection with, the safest blind buy for a niche fragrance as well, MANCERA CEDRAT BOISE. This is always my default answer with what should be the first niche fragrance I buy. This, because you can wear it every day for everything. There's never a bad time to smell like CEDRAT BOISE. It's an above average performer. It does pull compliments. It's fresh, it's fruity, it's woody. It's got the Creed Aventus vibe without smelling exactly like Creed Aventus for a fraction of the price. Even discounted prices of Creed Aventus, this is a fraction of the price. This can be found anywheres from $65 to $90. Sometimes you can get lucky, find it $65, $70, $75 at certain discounters online. But if you're paying in the $80 realm, you're doing really good with CEDRAT BOISE, in my opinion. This is one of my personal favorite everyday fragrances. Honestly, if I had to whittle my collection down to 10 fragrances regardless of price, this is one of those fragrances that would make it. This is a pillar in anybody's collection, in my opinion. And if you're just looking for that one quality, not too high end, but definitely not cheap smelling fragrance that you can wear for anything, any season, no matter how you dressed or where you're going, you're gonna smell great, and there's a strong possibility somebody's gonna tell you you smell great, you need to get yourself a bottle of MANCERA CEDRAT BOISE. Next, we've got another blue fragrance. We've got a blue fragrance in every category, to be completely honest with you. And this line is polarizing. It's love, it's hate. Me personally, I think the whole line is great. I'm talking about the Sauvage line, but I'm talking about Dior Sauvage Eau de Parfum more specifically for you. Reason being, you get all the freshness of the Eau de Toilette. You get a lot more spice, a bit more character, a little bit higher profile on the sex appeal, in my personal opinion, and based on my wife's feedback as well. You still get about the same performance. This is an above average performer. This is a head turner. This is a compliment magnet. You don't have all the sweetness of the Parfum. You don't have the heavy dry spice of the Elixir, but you don't smell like every single person wearing Sauvage at the same time, because most people wearing Sauvage are wearing the Eau de Toilette. This is spicier. Don't get me wrong, a ton of people are wearing this. This is a top seller as well. Lacks a little bit behind the EDT as far as I know, but the versatility's there. It's never a bad time, in my opinion, to smell like Sauvage EDP. Especially if you're like me and you like spices. Yes, it has that clean, fresh, soapy shower gel type of smell, but like I said, the Sichuan pepper is a bit heightened here. The vanilla comes out a bit more. There's a little bit more sweetness than the original. Like I said, this is a better fragrance overall, in my personal opinion. If I had to wear one Sauvage every day moving forward forever, it would be the EDP. I would leave the others behind because, like I said, this brings you the best of the line combined into one bottle, in my personal opinion. Love it or hate it, it just works. It's great every day. The Sauvage EDP. Next, this is more affordable luxury. That is what's touted by the brand, and I believe that's achieved with more and more with every single release. And for me, the most versatile, best everyday wear from the house of Zaharoff is going to be Signature ROYALE. This has a lovely citrus medley up top, a lot of blonde woods. It's creamy. It's true to the Signature Pour Homme DNA. You do get some of that signature myrrh and oud from the original. That warm, resinous quality is still present without being too heavily spicy. There's no florals here. There's a little bit of greenery, a nice herbaceous touch. I say there's no florals. There is a nice slight magnolia touch here, but it's not overly done where it's a heavy dose of iris or jasmine or something like that. It's blended to perfection. This is a great everyday white Oxford type of fragrance. Yes, it can dress down to a t-shirt for your day off, but this is one that the quality and the scent profile will also somewhat beg you to dress it up as well. That's why I deem it to be the most versatile of the house. Yes, the original signature Pour Homme is a great signature scent, hence the name in the original's DNA, signature. But for me, this freshened up the DNA quite a bit, took away some of the warm, spicy qualities of that original, made a fresher, more well-rounded daytime fragrance that will work well in the night. But as far as an everyday fragrance, this is the one to grab from Zaharoff. That's Zaharoff Signature Royale. If you know me, you know I can't help myself. I love my blue fragrances. So yes, this particular price bracket does have 2 blue fragrances, and the 2 best in the price bracket, pound for pound in my opinion. One being Sauvage EDP, the other being YEDP from YSL. I mean, look, my personal favorite is the Eau de Toilette, but I know for a lot of people, that's not gonna cut it in the performance department because this performs so much better than the EDP. Yes, the EDT is much fresher, but you're gonna sacrifice 3-4 hours of longevity, and if attention is what you're looking for, YEDP is the fragrance you want on your skin. This is a head turner. This is another one that's a compliment magnet. For me personally, in the summer, go easy on the sprays. This one's very potent. It can be a bit cloying. The sweetness can really start to kind of get all in your face when it really starts projecting heavy in the high heat. But the rest of the year, signature scent, everyday wear type of stuff in my opinion. It checks all the boxes. It has the versatility. It's fresh. It's a little aquatic. It's got this blue fragrance feel that you hear everybody talk about. It's not just the color, it's an actual genre in this day and age. Whereas it's mass appealing, it's versatile, it's gonna smell good to most people, including yourself. There's a sweetness here without being too sweet. There's a freshness without being too fresh. It kind of just checks all the boxes and falls somewhere in the middle of all of these different categories. Hence why I had to recommend it to you. And like I said, if performance is important to you, this is probably the best performing fragrance in the video. Try this one if you haven't yet. YSL EDP. Sometimes a timeless classic scent profile is all you need. Barbershop, aromatic fougere. These may be a few terms you've heard along your fragrance journey. If you're early into your fragrance journey, it may be new to you. Timeless classic barbershop fragrances will give you that aura of walking into a barbershop, whether it be the Barbicide, that light blue liquid that they're sterilizing all their scissors and everything and their utensils in, or the nice lathering shaving cream smell, the spices, the aftershave smell. At the Barber's, Maison Margiela's Replica line will replicate all of that for you. This has that aromatic nature. It has a lovely dose of spices and a nice leathery undertone in the backdrop while having that Barbasol lathered shaving cream type of smell. This is a gentlemanly, great daily wear fragrance that is a very high quality designer. This is not a cheap barbershop smelling fragrance. It's mid-level. Higher end on the quality for your run-of-the-mill designers, I would say, because this isn't a run-of-the-mill designer. I would consider this more towards the upper tier of designer fragrances because the oils here are very, very high quality. You're gonna get solid performance while not some crazy long-lasting beast like, say, a YEDP that we discussed right before this fragrance. You will get most of a workday out of this depending on what type of work setting you are in, whether it be indoors or outdoors. But this just smells versatile, masculine, man's man, everyday type of fragrance. It's a great addition to anyone's collection. And if you just need the one fragrance and you got $100 to spend from discounters, this is that one. It's a timeless classic scent profile done right. Maison Margiela Replica at the Barber's. Now we're moving into that 150 plus luxury market. This is for the man that has some coin to spend. You've got a little extra money to spend. You want the performance, you want the quality, you want to smell expensive. You want to smell great every single day, and you're not willing to sacrifice. You're willing to spend the money to get your money's worth. And for me, we can go ahead and talk about the blue fragrance in this category first because the blue fragrances are near and dear to my heart. That being Parfums de Marly SEDLEY. This is an average performer for as fresh as it is. More into that very good performance these days. I find myself still being able to smell it very easily in the 7, 8, even 9 hour mark. The more I wear this, the more this juice matures in this bottle. So maceration is a real thing, people. When I first got this, this was a 5 to 6 hour fragrance. These days, it's more of a 7, 8, even 9 hour fragrance without spraying my clothes. You're gonna get that fougere, aromatic fougere appeal. It's got a little bit of a barbershop hit, but it's more about citruses, aromatic soapy lavender. There's a mintiness that adds this bright green herbaceous freshness to it. It's got a nice creamy nuance, very woody in the dry down. There's a little touch of ambroxan to give it that, add to that soapy feel without making it an ambroxan bomb type of fragrance. This is one of the most versatile niche fragrances out there, especially in the 150 plus price bracket. I love this stuff. The first time you smell it, you may say, I've smelled this before. This smells familiar. That's not really worth the money. Then you wear it a few times. You get a sample or something. Buy yourself a decant. You try it out. You wear it a few times. Next thing you know, you're getting a bottle. Because this is a joy to wear. It's a surprising compliment getter with surprising performance. Great everyday fragrance. Probably, in my opinion, the best everyday fragrance from the house. Again, that's Parfums de Marly, SEDLEY. Next, high-end luxury house, personal favorite house of mine. My absolute favorite fragrance from them is their tobacco fragrance, but for everyday wear, classic scent profile, top tier quality, we're talking about Argos Pour Homme. Bright, juicy, authentic citrus bergamot smell, fresh, super fresh Haitian vetiver. There's a nice violet floral type of smell here without being too flowery. It will remind you of just a hit of Fahrenheit being in there, the violet note in Fahrenheit, but not overly petroleum, but it's a masculine type of tone to it with this bright citrus and, like I said, this lovely, super fresh, almost soapy and slightly woody vetiver, and of course there's a few woody nuances on top of the vetiver in the base. This is an 8+ hour fragrance. This is going to give you the performance you're looking for. It has the versatility. While not some extreme compliment getter, when somebody does smell you, they're going to think you smell nice, well put together overall, regardless of if you're in a t-shirt or you're in a suit and tie. This can dress up, this can dress down. No matter what, you're gonna smell like you spent some money on your fragrance because it does smell, like I said before, of top tier quality. The highest level of oils were used here, hence the reason for the performance, and the blend is almost to perfection. Get a sample and try this one. There are carded samples available from the link below with 10% off. It's Argos Pour Homme. So, in this price point, there are very few creeds I deem worth the money these days. This one was so worth the money to me, it's one of the 2 bottles I own, full bottles from the House of Creed, this being Creed Viking. The original Creed Viking, not Creed Viking Cologne. So why do I deem this such a special fragrance that was worthy of a full bottle for everyday wear? Reason being, it's got that fresh aromatic nature. It's got the barbershop feel, but much more spice. There's a sweetness here with this pink pepper, the sweet spice touch. There's some citruses up top. It's extremely aromatic. It's very high. Everything in this price bracket is super high quality, and this one actually performs. This is an easy 8-hour fragrance of longevity on my skin without being loud and in your face. If you're not looking for a big time look at me attention grabber type of fragrance, you want something a bit more subtle, a bit more subdued, but still, like I said, super high quality, get you through your work day. Creed Viking might be that fragrance for you. It's a personal favorite of mine. I gotta spray it again. I love smelling this stuff. Because if you like aromatic, fresh, and spicy, this is all of that and then some. It's more on the complex side. I don't find it to be too simple of a fragrance, but it's not too complex to where there's so much going on that you can't really distinguish notes. You just kind of get several different accords. That's not the case here. You're able to pick out different things. You're gonna smell great. It works in every season, every situation, t-shirt to suit and tie. Like I said, if you got the money to spend, around $200 from discounters, it's hard to beat. It's a really good everyday fragrance. It's Creed Viking. Hands down the most versatile fragrance from the house. And the house is full of incredible, high quality, original, unique, long-lasting, powerful fragrances, that being Kajal Perfumes. This is Kajal Homme 2. Now, I'm a big, avid fan of the original Kajal Homme, but that's not quite as versatile. That has more of a tonka bean base with a lot of orange blossoms, some oud. It's an interesting, fresh oud. Lovely fragrance. I'll never knock it. I'm not knocking it. I'm saying this is just so much more versatile. This is an interesting follow-up to the original, where you still get a heavy dose of different citruses and fruits. There's a little bit of toffee here. There's some florals in its heart. There's even a little bit of ambroxan in the background, if I remember correctly, with a lot of woods. This is a more woody type of fragrance that, like I said, has the freshness, has the greens, but focuses more on the woods as it dries down. More in the 10-hour realm. This is definitely a very long-lasting fragrance on my skin that can turn some heads because it doesn't smell like all the rest of your daily wear type of fragrances. This one has a little bit of that, what is that? You smell nice. It has that factor going for it. That's one of the things that I deem most endearing about Kajal Homme 2. Another one that you can get a sample and try. There are discovery sets available from the website with 10% off in the link down below. If there's one fragrance that I deem easiest to wear from the house, great for every day, that is another one that's top tier quality and you're getting your money's worth, you might want to look into Kajal Homme 2. Last but most certainly not least, if you're one of those guys that's got that kind of money to spend, you wear a Rolex to work every day. You know, you're wearing Ferragamo shoes every day. You're that guy. You've got the money to spend. You know, the baller fragrance in this video, if you will. ROJA Parfums, HARRODS Parfum. This is a phenomenal everyday scent. If you've got the money to spare, this is one of those fragrances that's very complex. This fragrance smells like money. Don't get me wrong, there's others in this video that do, but not like this. So here you get a rich, thick, juicy citrus up top. There's a lot of green, fresh, spicy type of herbs here, a lot of woods. There's a crazy long note breakdown here. This is one of those more complex fragrances that has a lot of layers to peel away. This is one that every time you smell yourself, you're gonna get a different nuance, you're gonna get a different accord. This is complexity at its finest. This is top tier everyday wear because it is a versatile scent profile that doesn't wear too heavy, doesn't wear too light, performs like a heavy fragrance, but is light and airy at the same time. This is going to give you everything you would want and then some, especially if you're not looking for a challenging fragrance. If you want something that's just good to go every day, you're going to smell like money, you're going to smell great, it's complex, it's a conversation starter when people smell you because they've most likely never smelled anything like it before. I'm telling you, if you got the money, get into HARRODS Parfum. This is some really, really good stuff. One of the more versatile fragrances available from the house, but definitely closer to their mid to upper tier in their price brackets because it's in their mid to upper tier complexity of scent profiles. The stuff is stunning. This is a great, great fragrance that I was honored and privileged to get my hands on. Get a decant and sample this one. If you've got the funds and you want something special, you should try HARRODS Parfum from ROJA Parfums. Well, that's all 15, 3 different price brackets that I brought together just for you guys. Instead of making 3 separate videos, let's put it all together, my 5 favorite recommendations from each price bracket to just spray and go. Everyday wear, regardless of situation, season, or attire. And until next time, do me a real quick favor, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. Have any of these piqued your interest? Which price bracket are you most interested in? I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. And until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of the 15 that I featured in this video and you give them a spray now, pretty confident you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.